Okay, guys, great job in that first knockout round against Troyes. I suspect we've got a much tougher task coming up here in the second round. Okay, we've got Arsenal. We know they're a good team. They're past winners of the competition. They've got all the Premier League money, but it's two of the competition favourites. We deserve to be in that talk. So let's go out there and just see if we can get through. If we can beat these guys, we can go on and win the whole thing. Okay, let's go. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 116 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we have the second knockout round of the Europa League and we take on Arsenal in a big clash for this stage of the competition. So if you are looking forward to this episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we are coming into this game having not played any off the back of our win in the first knockout round at the end of last week against Troyes. If you missed those episodes, I'll leave a link to the most recent one over in the top right corner. The only thing that we have done since then is sign a new centre midfielder. So it's time to reveal to you guys a new wonder kid here at Volsungur. And that is 19-year-old Frenchman, the Sana Dumbia. He looks very, very good for his age. 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, even if that last one is whited out. But you look at him on screen there, he is a really, really good midfielder. Nice and young as well. He's actually already better than Karel Giroud. So that's something which we might have to deal with come the end of this European season, which, given we're taking on Arsenal today, might not be too far away. But as you can see on screen there, he looks a very, very good prospect. And what he cost us was £7 million up front, could go up to 9.5 million. But you see his value there has already shot up quite considerably, and he looks like a really, really good option for us for quite some time here at the club. So he's the player who's coming to replace both Maurizio Goffi and Hans Nicolucci Caviglia after we did sell those guys at the end of last week, and he looks like a massive upgrade on those guys, just spending a little bit more than what we got for those two players that we did sell. And he looks like he could be a player, as I said, who could be around here for a long time. Started his career off at Metz down in League Door for the most part, and has been pretty good for those guys, especially last season with a 7.14 average rating. And hopefully he can do a really good job here, especially when we do get into the new European season, whenever that may be. But that's really the only big bit of news that has been happening since the end of that second leg against Troyes at the end of last week. We are taking on Arsenal in the second knockout round, as we saw at the end of last week. They're just in a European qualification spot at the moment in the Premier League, but they do have a very, very good looking team. A lot of the youngsters that Arsenal currently have at the club are still there in this save, and they are a lot older and a lot more well developed in terms of their abilities. This is going to be a really tough test for us, but as I said in the intro, if we can get past these guys, I give us a massive chance of hopefully going all the way in the Europa League this season and making up for that final that we did lose a few seasons ago. There you can see the other ties on screen in the second knockout round at the moment. As you can see, the top half of the draw have already played their first legs. Interesting to see Anderlecht taking a lead over Valencia, but apart from that, most of the results going the way that you would expect. And in this bottom half of the draw, I think it is fair to say this, as well as Sevilla and Leicester, is one of the blockbuster ties. I don't think it's too out of line to be saying this is probably two of the competition favourites playing each other here, considering we did make that final a few seasons ago, Arsenal being past winners of this competition. But we are at full strength going into the first leg of this tie at the Laugardas. Although we probably need a good result in this league, if we are being honest, because going away to the Emirates, we do not want to have to pick up a win away from home there. But at full strength, we do have a few players on yellow cards, which we do need to keep an eye out on, especially in our defence. That could impact us in that second leg, but we'll come back shortly and hopefully get a good result here at home in the freezing cold conditions of Iceland. And here are the team sheets for the first leg of the second knockout round game. There we are at full strength, as I said, but we've got the likes of Matthews, Polo and Anderson all on yellow cards that could test our squad depth come the second leg. There's that Arsenal lineup. It is quite a strong looking one, but hopefully we can get something here in the home league to take into that second leg at the Emirates. And 10 minutes gone, we have the first highlight of this game. It was a ball put into the box there by Arsenal. We clear it away, but Ben White is able to get on the ball there, and Arsenal will try and continue this early attack. Great chance there for Tete. Just puts it wide. We do hold on, still 0-0 after 12 minutes. And we go forward to the 25-minute mark for our next highlight. It is a throw-in, but yet again, the highlight does look like it is going to be in Arsenal's favour. Martinelli just jogs forward here, gets on the byline. He's brought down there by Mazer, but apparently it's not a foul, but this highlight does continue, so Arsenal might still get a chance out of this one. Aronson gets in behind the defence. Tete gets an assist after blowing a good chance earlier, and it's 1-0 Arsenal, and based on both the highlights that we have seen so far, hard not to argue that that is a fair scoreline. We probably could have conceded a penalty there with that challenge from Alejandro Mazer. Play was waved on in Arsenal with some good short passing off the back of that. Good finish there by Aronson. 1-0 to the Gunners after 26 minutes. And we go forward to the 38-minute mark. It's a free kick here for Arsenal. Eder Militao is given far too much space there at the near post, and this is not how we wanted this home leg to go. We are already in all sorts of trouble here unless we sort things out in the second half. That's far too easy. Just trying to figure out who missed that header there at the near post. It's Elias Anderson, so that's not good from him. We're 2-0 down just shy of halftime in the first leg. And that is halftime in this home leg, and it's not going too well, although if you have a look at the stats there, not as bad as it would be suggested by those highlights that we did see. We're going to make one change at halftime though. John Matthews, yellow card struggling out there. Ian Carlo can come on for him. He's actually going to have to start the second leg anyway because John Matthews will be suspended for that one, but we'll tell the boys they need to do a lot better in the second half because we're in all sorts of trouble here. 2-0 down at halftime in the home league. And early on here in the second half, it starts off yet again with Arsenal on the ball. Guardiol taking that free kick, and they do keep the press forward here. Martinelli with a good chance. He slots it away, but was he offside? It did look a little bit too good to be true. Hopefully that is the case because that would pretty much kill off this tie. Thankfully, he was offside, so it does remain 2-0 at the 50-minute mark. We'll just wait to see this replay, and there is a good stride or so offside, but all the highlights so far with Arsenal, despite the stats you can see on screen there, 2-0 down early in the second half. And up to the 58-minute mark, we're going to make our last two substitutions in this one. Elias Anderson hasn't been great, I don't think, despite being on a 6.6. We'll bring Ali Ramadan on for him, and Nicholas Zimmerman has picked up a yellow card and was also struggling out there as well. So Chaka Traore to come on for him, and hopefully those guys can help us out here in this last half hour. And with 20 minutes left, we have our next highlight, and finally we might have a bit of period here with the ball, although we do give possession away there though, and Arsenal will look to play out from the back there. Captain Kieran Tierney plays that up for Maxi Gomez, and now the goal scorer Aronson gets in behind our defence. Great chance, just puts it wide. Aronson about to go for Brandon Williams, and it's still 2-0 Arsenal with just under 20 minutes left, although we are now back down the other end, and yet again we have a throw-in, but yet again we can't keep hold of possession from what we've seen in terms of the highlights in this game so far. It has not been a good performance, thankfully. Basaroge wins us a header there, and might have a chance through Benjamin Rubio for some reason. He tries to play through Chaka Traore there. Probably should have just taken on the shot himself. That was a great chance. A good save, though, from the Arsenal goalkeeper to keep it at 2-0, and Basaroge with a handball off the corner. We're still 2-0 down late here in this home league. And up to the 82-minute mark, Arsenal are in position again for these last 10 minutes. We are on a higher tempo and playing more direct. We will see if that helps out here. We've actually been quite good in terms of the stats, but just no highlights in our favour apart from that really good chance before to Chaka Traore, albeit a chance which Benjamin Rubio probably should have tried to take before he tried to pass that ball to Chaka Traore, but Arsenal are holding the ball well here with their tiki-taka style. It's tiki-taka versus vertical tiki-taka, and so far, fair to say that Arsenal's methods are coming up trumps, and they play a ball in behind there, but thankfully Ian Carlo is there to tidy things up. He finds Rubio. Frederick Larson plays a nice ball out there to Chaka Traore. We need a goal soon to stay alive in this time. We will get one there through Kalen Rakasam. Will beat the Arsenal goalkeeper at his near post, and thankfully we've now potentially got something to work with in the second leg. A goal down, which is still not an ideal situation, but at least we have scored, because if you look at the stats come the end of this game, we haven't been as bad as the highlights have been suggesting, but we finally get a ball through there. 2-1 Arsenal with just about 5 minutes left, and not too long off the back of that most recent highlight. We do have a throw-in here with only 5 minutes to go. Benjamin Rubio can't quite get on the end of it, but Ian Carlo puts that back into the mix. A great ball there from Larson, and Rakasan gets that off the crossbar. That was a great chance for us to grab an equaliser, but we're still 2-1 down late here in the home league. And very late in this one, we are down Arsenal's end for a throw-in. Hopefully we can hold on here and at least take a 2-1 result into the second leg. We'll look at the stats shortly. There's a good chance there though for Guzzo. Thankfully, Husavik pulls off a good save. We'll see if anything does come from the subsequent corner. We are over injury time in this one. They do cut off the corner, which is nice. That is full time. I'm not really too sure how we've lost that game when you look at the stats, but in terms of the highlights, it was pretty clear Arsenal did have the better chances in that game. I think it is fair to say we had more shots, less on target, albeit ours had a much higher XG, so that's a little bit disappointing there, but hopefully there's enough encouraging signs out of that performance that we can turn it around on these guys at the Emirates and try and come from behind to make our way through to the next round of this Europa League. But that is not how we wanted things to go at home. We are going to be trailing 2-1 going into the second leg. We will be missing John Matthews at the very least because he picked up a yellow card in that first half. Ian Carlo came off the bench, did decently, but in the end we just didn't take our chances well enough there in that home league. Hopefully we can be a bit more clinical in front of goal at the Emirates coming up shortly, but we are 2-1 down after the first leg. We'll come back shortly and hopefully turn it around at the Emirates. And here are the team sheets for the second leg of this tie. We are trailing 2-1. Arsenal looking very, very similar to what they had in that first leg, albeit a few personnel changes. Lapasset, their left winger, was a player I was looking at in the past transfer window. If we had the money, just that one change. Ian Carlo comes in for the suspended John Matthews, and hopefully we can turn this around here at the Emirates. And it's taken until the 27-minute mark for our first highlight of the second leg. Kalen Rakasan has picked up an early knock, but we're nursing him through it at the moment. It also looks like Smith Rowe for Arsenal is in exactly the same situation. Zimmerman there could have released someone, but Kieran Tierney gets a foot in, and Arsenal will try and get us here now that they do have possession back. Ben White quickly gets that back inside our half, and Tomiyasu on the right here, just inside the byline, and there for Smith Rowe. It's Rakasan with a tackle. They play that back for Fernandinho, a much younger Fernandinho than the one that you guys are probably more familiar with, but nonetheless, that is a good strike there for Arsenal, and we are in all sorts of trouble now. We are now 3-1 down and 1-0 down on the day. It was some good play there from Arsenal, just putting pressure on us inside our own half. Good short passing, made their way inside the box, and no stopping that one from Fernandinho. We're 2 goals down with just over an hour left. And that is half-time in the second leg. We are still in trouble, 2 goals down. We haven't really shown much in this one compared to the stats that we did have in that first leg, so that might be the league that does come back to bite us. We'll leave Kalen Rakasan out there for now because he's been quite good so far in this European season for us, but we're probably going to need to take him off at some stage in the second half, but no changes for now. Hopefully a bit of a pep talk here will give these boys a boost. We need a big turnaround if we're going to continue our season in Europe in the second half. And very early on in the second half, we are on the attack here. Ian Carlo plays the ball forward there to Zimmerman. Good short passing. He's in behind the defence. Tries to get a shot off. Probably could have squared that for someone. Forces a decent save there out of the Arsenal goalkeeper, but at least there's some encouraging signs here to start off the second half. We can't quite get our hand on the end of that one. Gvardiol heads it away, and Arsenal might look to get something going here on the counter-attack, and Fernandinho is in behind here. What will he do? Just holds the ball up. Ian Carlo will commit a foul. Hopefully no free kick off the back of that. Indeed, that is the case. It does remain 1-0 early here in the second half. We need 2 goals, but we are back down the other end not too long off the back of that most recent highlight, hopefully with a chance of our own. Giroud plays that out to Ian Carlo. Nice 1-2 there. He gets just inside the byline, very similar to where Tomiyasu was trying to create their first goal from. They do get the ball there, do Arsenal, but Basaroge with an interception. Rubio puts that top right corner, but he's probably offside. We'll just wait and make sure, but it did look a little bit too good to be true. Hopefully I am wrong though, because that would be a much needed goal. It was a really good finish, but unfortunately he was offside, and we do stay 2 goals down. That's the sort of thing we really need to be taking advantage of when we get the chance. He's not far offside. but it's a correct decision. We're still 2 goals down here with just under 40 minutes left. And up to the 57-minute mark, we're going to make some substitutions. Kalen Rakasan absolutely knackered with that niggly injury, so poor Stein Anason will come on for him. And Benjamin Rubio, despite that good finish before when he was offside, only on a 6.4, Fabio Mariano will come on for him for the last half hour or so, and hopefully we can get something out of this game. We do have a highlight before we can even make those substitutions. We try and play a long ball forward there for Benjamin Rubio, but he can't get on the end of it, and Arsenal will try and extend their lead here. One more goal, and it's probably all over Red Rover, but it does look like a very strong position that Arsenal are in at the moment. It looks like we're going to be going out of the Europa League much earlier than we would like. That's a good chance there for Guzzo, but he puts it wide. We need 2 goals here at least in this last half hour. And up to the 67-minute mark, we're going to make our last substitution. Frederick Larson down to a red heart on a 6.5. Chaka Traore is our last roll of the dice for these last 20 minutes or so, needing 2 goals still to take this one to extra time. And not too long off the back of our last substitution, we changed a few things around with our wing backs and just everything in general, trying to get something going in this one. But it is Arsenal who were there on the counter-attack. We do clear the ball away, but that is very safe for Arsenal to deal with at the back. Let's hope they make a mistake here, give us the ball inside their own half, and hopefully we can make the most of that and try and get back into this one with 20 minutes left. But Tete gets in behind the defence here. Could be a good chance for Arsenal to seal things well. Lervik pulls off a save, thankfully. The deflection does go out for a corner. Did briefly look like that might find its way into the back of the net somehow. They have a corner here. Do Arsenal. Thiago Polo heads that away out to Tete, back over there to Gomez, who I think was offside. Indeed, that is the case. We still need 2 goals here with 20 minutes left. And up to the 80-minute mark, it is a goal kick here for Arsenal. They take it short yet again. We need to get this ball nice and high up the pitch, I feel like, to try and give ourselves a chance here inside the last 10 minutes. But Arsenal do get up towards the halfway line here, just doing some good passing and linking up with each other. It's a nice ball out there to Tete. He plays that back for the goal scorer today, and Fernandinho, and plays that all the way back for Gvardiol. At the moment, we are not doing much here. And the second leg is a good chance for Tete. Thankfully, that is straight at Lervik. We still need 2 goals here, and we have less than 10 minutes to do it. And we are now up to the 90-minute mark. We've got 4 minutes of extra time. It is a corner, though, for Arsenal. We deal with it. Hopefully, we can get possession back here. And as I've said a few times now, just give ourselves a chance to try and grab an equaliser late in this game. But it would need to be something of Real Madrid proportions if we're going to take this game to extra time now. And I don't know if we quite have that quality just yet. There's a big foul there from Ian Carlo, but the referee does play advantage. Tete plays it in for Williams just inside the box. It's a good slide tackle here from Meza, even if he is on a yellow card. Another good one there from Anason, bit of a questionable one. We could have potentially given away a few penalties in this tie so far, but thankfully the referee is on our side in that regard. But Kieran Tierney puts a ball into the mixer. Maxi Gomez with a header goes just over the bar. We'll see if anything happens here in extra time. We've gone attacking. We've got as many players as we can have on attack, but unfortunately it isn't to be. We lose both legs there to Arsenal and go out 3-1 on aggregate in the second knockout round of the Europa League. Tough opposition, but that is still a lot earlier than we would have liked to go out of the Europa League, especially considering where we sit in terms of the coefficient in the end. I think that first leg really proved costly. If you looked at the stats there, that is one that we absolutely should have been winning, but in the end Arsenal were too good for us in both legs, and we are out of the Europa League in the second knockout round off the back of a 3-1 loss to Arsenal. And back in the inbox off the back of that one, that is far earlier than we would have liked to go out of the Europa League, especially after making the final 2 seasons ago. But in the end, I think we possibly have been knocked out there by the eventual winners in Arsenal. As I said, I think we really need a bit more out of that first leg at home. If we go back and have a look at that one in terms of the stats, we did lose it 2-1, but stats-wise, I know a lot of the highlights were in Arsenal's favour, but we really, if you look at those stats, should have been winning that game probably the opposite way round, 2-1, and we had some great chances late there. Kalen Rakasan certainly with a great chance to grab us an equaliser after getting a goal back for us at the near post. If we got a draw out of that game, we would have certainly had a bit more of a chance there at the Emirates, but in the end we didn't score in that game anyway, so I'm not too sure what difference it might have made, but we certainly should have got something a bit more out of that home league, and that could have changed things entirely. in that second leg at the Emirates, but we didn't perform that well away from home there and get knocked out, rightly so, by Arsenal, 3-1 on aggregate, and that is going to do it for this European season here at Volsungur for 2030/31. Before we do wrap things up for today's episode and figure out what we're going to do before we do get into the next European qualifying cycle, we will go and have a quick look at the coefficient, because that is not going to help us out in terms of that. We'll just make our way down so my head is not blocking everything. We are currently in 16th. I was hoping we'd actually jump above a few nations come the end of this season, but it hasn't been a great one for us. It's better than the one that we are getting rid of, but it's actually worse than the year that we had last season, and that was the season that we did make it into the Champions League knockouts for the first time in the end. I think a little bit unlucky to get Arsenal that early, but that happens sometimes, and we really need to be getting to a stage soon in this save where we can start beating those big guns in Europe, so we can really start making our way up that coefficient table a little bit more regularly. If we have a look at where we are going to end up off the back of this season, we are tied with Denmark, but if we go back and just look, we are going to be dropping down a place into 17th at the moment, and you'd imagine that Denmark probably have the chance to pick up a few more coefficient points in the knockouts of one of the 3 European competitions. That is not what we were after. I was really hoping we'd get a nice rise back up and get one of our automatic Champions League spots back for the second place team in the league come the end of this season, but that is not going to be the case. We are now going to have at least 2 European seasons with just the league winner being the team that gets a shot at Champions League football, albeit that might not be the worst thing, because if you have a team like HK dropping in to Conference League qualifying, having just made the group stages of the Champions League, hopefully that is a competition that HK can have a very, very good season in, and that might give us the help that we do need at this save, as it does look like. We'll just have a quick look to at the qualification places if there's any difference between 16th and 17th. Thankfully, there is not. So despite this potential drop that we do have at the end of this European season, it won't impact things too negatively for the European season in a few seasons' time, but hopefully we can start making our way back into that top 15 and get 2 teams in the Champions League qualifiers, and also get one of our teams in those Europa League qualifiers sooner rather than later. But that will do it for today's episode, unfortunately going out of the Europa League thanks to that 3-1 loss there to Arsenal. If you did enjoy today's episode, also signing that very promising looking French midfielder, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the save here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. In terms of what we'll come back for, we might do the Deal to Bakar finals, come back off the back of that for a end of European season roundup review, and then in a few days time we will try and get back into European qualifying, especially this season coming up, as we are back in the second qualifying round, unlike this past season where we had to wait a little bit longer to get to the third qualifying round. So we'll probably do 2 domestic episodes before we do get back into the swing of things in the new European season. And also over these next 2 episodes, we can also potentially look to start moving on some players who haven't been performing that well in this past European season, now that we don't have to worry about losing them for registration purposes. But we'll come back tomorrow probably with those Deal to Bakar finals. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.